everyone, we are from NTU Welfare Service Club, Camp Outreach.
Hi everyone, I'm Aloysius from NTU WSC RSPDC, so also known as Regular Service Project Deaf Community. My role in my CCA, I'm the Woodlands Center Head, and I coordinate tuition services between our volunteers as well as members of the deaf community, being the tutees as well as their parents.
Hello, my name is Amos and from NTU Welfare Services Club, the Regular Service Project for the Deaf Community, or RSPDC for short. So my role within my organization is I'm actually a student tutor. I'm actually coaching a primary 3 kid from the Kallang Center and helping her in her studies. So the subject which I'm actually helping her with includes English, mathematics, and science.
Camp Outreach vision is to provide a sustainable platform for both the deaf and the hearing to volunteer together, both locally and overseas. To achieve this vision, we design our activities to promote the spirit of volunteering among COR members and the deaf volunteers through a year-long journey of shared community experience. We are always looking to expand our team of deaf volunteers. Therefore, we are very welcome to members of the deaf community joining our activities and events in the upcoming year.
We want to promote deaf awareness as well as empower the deaf community by embracing the spirit of volunteerism as a lifelong experience, while also focusing to realize the fullest potential of our service users. So a bit of our history. We were initially set up in 1991 as RSPHI, or Regular Service Project for the Hearing Impaired. However, as the deaf community continues to progress, we decided to refine our name in 2016 and change it to RSPDC, which stands for Regular Service Project for the Deaf Community, to better reflect the terms hearing impaired and deaf. An ideal space would be where our service users can be very comfortable and know they can raise any concerns that they have without facing any form of discrimination. It's also a supportive environment for them to know that they have someone that they can lean on.
Camp Outreach key activities are local and overseas community involvement projects. Throughout the year, we organize several local volunteering projects with different organizations. We often volunteer for causes that both our COR members and deaf volunteers are passionate about. COR is aiming for a more sustainable volunteering impact by working long-term or more frequently with several organizations moving forward in the coming year.
The local volunteering projects are a prelude to our flagship event, the Overseas Community Involvement Project. In the past years, COR and our deaf volunteers have been to many countries in Asia, such as Vietnam and Cambodia for our OCIP. Our most recent trip was in 2018, where we volunteered at a local deaf school in Nepal. Of course, other than volunteering, COR also wish to forge stronger bonds with our deaf friends.
The two main types of program which our organization provide is our weekly tuition services for deaf children and teenagers, as well as an enrichment program for deaf adults, such as virtual escape room, Muay Thai, and even nature walks to Singapore Botanic Gardens.
A story that I'd like to share in my first event with deaf volunteers was an outing with Camp Outreach. I was a beginner in sign, so I couldn't even remember all the fingerspelling alphabets. But all our deaf friends were very patient, very understanding, and very willing to teach us all. And seeing all their passion and enthusiasm in the events really spurred me to continue practicing sign language, so that I would be able to connect and communicate with them even better. I also realized how unique sign language is, how we can freely express ourselves in different ways, and this has also helped me understand my deaf friends even better. This is also why I want to continue practicing, learning, and volunteering together with them.
A story that will always stick in my mind was a time when COR had travelled all the way to Kuala Lumpur to visit the deaf Starbucks there. At this particular Starbucks, all the workers employed are deaf. There were signs that had sign language on them, menus with plenty of pictures, and even a touchscreen menu for customers to order from. Needless to say, the design of the store was very catered to the deaf employees and even deaf customers. Luckily for us, it was a slow day that day, so the baristas were very curious and bombarding us with questions like, "Where are you from?" or "Why do you know sign?" or even, "Why did you want to learn sign?" Seeing their faces light up when they realized that we knew sign and how excited they were to communicate with us made me feel really heartened that such small acts done by us can make them feel so included. That is why I want to be in COR and to be part of the deaf community.
I think one of the most memorable moments that had also inspired me was Sparks. Okay, basically it was a day of zoo with our tutors as well as tutees, and you can see how everyone communicate and bond with one another. So this goes to remind us that people from the deaf community are not very different from us at all. Okay, being able to learn sign language in my CCA also allowed us to bridge the communication barrier and better understand the deaf community as well. This event just brings out the intent and purpose of why people join our CCA in the first place, okay, which is to make an impact in the deaf community.
Our hope is that COR will continue to serve our purpose as a platform for volunteering within the deaf community. We hope that through our efforts, volunteering will be widely advocated throughout the deaf community, and that the hearing community will gain a better understanding towards the deaf. Hopefully, this could be a first step in developing a society that embraces and encompasses convenience for everyone with any disability. So this year, COR will be reaching out to various external organizations to plan local volunteering activities that will be suitable for our deaf volunteers. We are also trying to advocate for more deaf for deaf volunteering. Other than volunteering, COR plans bonding events so that our members can get to know the deaf community better.
My hope for the future of the deaf community is for everyone to treat them equally. Currently, there is quite a bit of discrimination towards the deaf community, and I just feel that it is unfair to treat anyone like that. Okay, our CCA imparts certain values to our juniors and teach life skills, and I think more importantly is to the ability to empathize. Okay, being able to put yourself in other shoes really goes a long way for both parties, and it actually allows everyone to be kind to one another. I think the greatest obstacle in achieving this hope of mine for the deaf community to be treated equally is that people just assume that members of the deaf community are difficult to communicate with and thus avoid them. They also not want to learn a new language just because it's considered a hassle, it's very time consuming, it may be a lot of effort to learn. Yeah. We can actually work together to do this through learning just simple sign language and being patient. This will actually go a long way.
Okay, so now I would like to share with you one misconception that the public may have about the deaf community. One thing that I noticed among my hearing friends is that many of them refer to the deaf as hearing impaired. They feel that the term hearing impaired is more appropriate than calling them deaf, which sounds like a derogatory term to them. Surprisingly enough, the opposite is true in fact. Because hearing impaired sounds as though they are dysfunctional and the deaf are not normal in a sense. So I'd like to inform all of you out there that it's perfectly okay to call them deaf, hard of hearing, or even a person with hearing loss. I hope that whenever you meet someone from the deaf community, you will ask them what kind of terms they would prefer to be referred to as. And from there, you can also advocate for the deaf community by letting your friends know as well.
Common misconception that everyone have is that you have to shout or raise your voice at them for them to hear you. It is not correct because you can better enunciate through your lip movements or learn simple signs like I mentioned before, which is your alphabets, your A, your B, your C. Yeah, so these are the kind of things that you can actually better communicate with them. Hey, to sum it up, I just want to say that just be understanding towards one another, just like how you would be patient with everyone.